Hello and welcome to day number 26 of the 30-day yoga challenge. Today we have a nice stretching session for our hips and the hamstrings, and we're gonna work our way up to sundial pose, or it is also known as compass pose. For today's practice, it can be helpful if you have a block and a strap, and I use my Manduka Pro mat, the original, because it is very soft and it's very nice on the knees and the joints. So if you need some yoga gear, I have a discount code in the description. And you also need your 30-day yoga challenge. You'll find the link to the product also in the description. And if you don't have it now, just grab a notebook and you can still join the practice. Whenever you're ready, come into a seated position of your choice. I like to sit on a block. And then close your eyes or half close your eyes. Take a few breaths to arrive on your mat. Bring your awareness to your inner world. While your body is in stillness. Notice how you feel. Maybe you have a lot of thoughts in your head. And when I have a lot of thoughts in my head, I try to think of them like a train. And me standing in the station and all these thoughts, all these trains passing by. And with every train that drives into the station, I have the opportunity to hop on the train and go on a journey. And that's the same thing with thoughts. I can follow this thought and follow it and think about it and just completely get lost in this thought. Or the other option is to stay in the station and just watching all the trains passing by, just acknowledging them and letting them go for their journey, but not hopping on the train, not going with the thought, just staying and observing, because thoughts are completely natural and they will pop up all the time. It's just a question, do you follow the thought, or do you stay in the station, in the seat of the observer? And in the yoga practice, we try to observe. And whenever we accidentally hopped on the train, we always have the option to get off at the next station and to become the observer again. So whenever you hopped off the train, you can always get off. So no worries. If you are on the train right now, that's totally fine. You can get off whenever you want. Gently open up your eyes. Remove the block if you sit on a block. take a moment to make your crosses on the page 26 of the 30-day yoga challenge. Decide on your energy level, mood, and present moment. And then put your challenge away, and we start in a 90-90 position. That means that your legs form a 90-degree angle. The front leg, doesn't matter whether it's the left leg or the right leg, because we're gonna do both sides anyways. So the front leg is in a 90-degree and the back leg is also in a 90-degree angle. And from here, we lift the knees up and go to the other side. So now the other leg in front is in a 90-degree and the back leg still in a 90-degree. And then you move around like this, and you probably maybe you come off your mat. That always happens. That's what happens always when I do this movement. Try to stay on the same spot if possible, but if you move around, you know, it's totally normal. So back and forth, and if this is too easy, you can also lift up here if you want, and go to the other side and lift up here. So just to intensify this movement. If it's all too much, you can also use your hands to move from side to side, and you don't need to lift up here. That's just an addition for those of you who want a little bit more for this hip exercise. So one more on each side in your variation, and then come back to center. Now for the next pose, it's good to have a soft mat, because this can be a little bit hard on the knees. So I suggest that you take the long side of the mat and place your knees wider than hip distance, actually as wide as it feels good. So this is going to be Mandukasana, frog pose. Goes very well with this mat, which is from Manduka, which means frog. So as wide as it feels good for you. You can still widen the knees once you're in the pose. Then you bring the forearms to the floor. Now adjust here. If you need a little more of a stretch, then go a little wider with the knees. Or if it is too much, then you can just shorten the length of the knees. So from here you have several options. Just stay in the pose, or what I like to do is like going back and forth, and that's how I come a little bit more into the hips, but it's not too much on the hips, and it just warms up my hip joint, my inner hips. And then you can also try to bring the feet closer to each other, or bring them even wider. So to find out what difference does it make when I bring the feet wider or closer. Maybe one is more difficult for you than the other version. Just test and try. To come out of the pose, you come onto your hands, you push into the floor, and you bring the knees together. That's the easiest way to come out of this pose. For the next pose, lay down onto your belly, stretch out the right arm to the side, push into the left fingertips, and roll your left hip over so that you feel a stretch in your right shoulder. So if this is too much, you can always come back a little bit, or if you want to deepen it, you can even bring the left arm over. This is to stretch the shoulders. We will need this later for our sundial pose, that the shoulders feel nice and open. Slowly come back to center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Stretch out the left arm, roll over the left shoulder, and again decide on the intensity level here. You don't need to go to your limit. It's 80% of your stretching capacity is enough. So if you feel a stretch, then you're in the right place. Slowly come back onto your belly. Now come onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest for Apanasana, knees to chest. You can rock from side to side, massage the low back. I also like, especially because we're gonna do a hip opening peak pose, circle the knees here and the legs in your hip joints. So you have a little bit more activation and mobilization. And then come back. Now bring your arms to the side, either in cactus position or stretch them out to the side. Keep the knees in. Now we're gonna move the knees from side to side. So bring the knees to the right side, and then with the strength of your belly muscles, lift them back up and move them to the other side. So we have an active twist here. The belly muscles needs to work. So keep on going from left to right, like 5 to 10 times in your own rhythm. One more to each side. Come back to center. Press yourself back up into a seated position. Now butterfly, I'm going to show it from this side. Bring the soles of your feet together. Lengthen. Butterfly, I like to do, especially if it's in the beginning of the practice, to push down the knees, just a tiny little push. So this is called fascia conditioning. So you realign your fascia, and this helps you to increase your flexibility in this pose in the hips. So just give a little push, and the other option you can do, hold on to your ankles and just bounce your knees or just lift them up and down. It even feels like a butterfly, so this is bound angle pose, or it's also called butterfly. And this is very good for fascia realignment, for fascia conditioning. And then come to stillness. Grab your block if you have one, and you can here fold forward in this butterfly pose. And if you have a block, you can place your Forehead on the block. If you don't have a block, you don't need to use the block. It's just a nice way to drop the weight of the head completely. Slowly come out of the pose. For the next pose, sit onto the block if you have a block. Also grab your strap if you have one. It's Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. It's nice to sit a little bit higher for most people who are tight in the hamstrings and the calves like me. Then from here, lift out of your hips, lengthen the spine, and with this long spine, fold forward. You can grab either your big toes with your index and your middle finger, or you can grab a strap and pull yourself closer with the strap. Or another option is just to bring the hands next to your calves or onto your ankles or calves or thighs. Doesn't really matter where your hands are. More important is that you try to lengthen the spine and lengthen forward instead of trying to pull yourself down. It's more this lengthening action. You want to reach your feet with your head. Think more of this instead of pulling yourself down. Breathe. This is an intense stretch. And remember, you don't need to go to your limit. It's not even helpful to go to your limit. Studies showed that it's more helpful to go to 80% of your limit, because if you go to 100%, your body will go to panic mode and it won't let you stretch. And at 80%, it is not in panic mode and you can really benefit from the stretch. And you notice over time it gets easier and more comfortable in the stretch if you don't rush it. So there is no goal, there is no achievement in yoga, just you, your body, your journey. So for the next pose, I remove the block. Bring the left foot to the inside of the right leg. We're going to do head to knee pose, Shanushirshasana. Lengthen the sides of your waists, fold forward, and you probably noticed that this one is a little easier now because we did Paschimottanasana before Shanushirshasana. You can also use the strap here, or you can just grab the foot with your hands. And on one leg it's a little bit easier, and especially because we stretched both legs before, this should feel now really nice. But again, don't go to your limit. Stay at your 80%. And then slowly come out of the pose. Switch sides, bring the right foot to the left inner groin. Lengthen the sides of your waist and fold over that leg. And when you're in the pose, instead of trying to go down. Try to lengthen your head. You want to bring your head to your big toe. So that should be your goal. And gravity will pull you down automatically. So you don't need to push yourself down. You just need to lengthen, and the rest will come by itself. And slowly come out of the pose. For the next pose, bring the left knee, bend the left knee. So if this feels okay for your knee, if not, you can keep it, your left foot in front of you. I know this can feel, this is quite a stretch, and we're not very used to do this kind of stretch. So if it is too much on your knee, just bring the foot forward, that's fine. And then bring the right knee into your chest, and from here, grab either the big toe and straighten the right leg, or you can also grab the calf and stretch the right leg, or even keep it a little bit bent, that's fine. You have different options here to do this pose. And then release. Other side. Bend the right knee. Place the right foot next to your hip or in front of you. Bring the left knee into your chest. Grab hold of the left big toe and straighten the leg. Or if you want, you can also grab the calf or the back of your thigh. Try to lengthen the spine as much as you can. This is hard, I know. It's hard for me. It's hard for all of us who are in the tight hamstring club, but we are a lot. You're not alone, so it's fine. And then release. Stretch out your legs, bring them in this wide-legged position. Again, here a block is very nice. I have even a little trick here I discovered over time in my own practice, and maybe this trick is helpful for you. I know my students love this trick and so I think it's worth sharing it. So I sit on the edge of the block, and the thing is, in wide-legged forward bend is to tilt the pelvis forward, and this is most often the most difficult part, because we're like this, and how can we like stretch forward? So I sit on the edge, and then I lift the block up here, so this helps me to tilt the pelvis, and then I slip over the block until I'm on the floor, and now I have the block pushing here into my butt basically, and helps me to keep the pelvis in this tilted position. So now you can just stay here, that's fine. And if you feel like you have more flexibility, more mobility here, you can also lower down your forearms, or you can even lower down all the way to the floor, so that's my limit here. But you see, the block just helps you staying in this tilted position, and you really need this tilted position in order to be able to fold forward. So maybe this little trick, I've never seen it in a yoga class. Actually, it's just something I discovered in my own practice, and I shared it with my students, and they all do it now as well because it really helps. So maybe it'll help you too. And then from here, if you have this tilted position, you have your forearms down, you can retract your arms and this will help you lengthen and lower down even further. And then slowly come back up. Now for sundial pose. So sundial pose is a very intense stretching pose, and I recommend to grab a strap to do it. And then if this is easy, then you can also try it without the strap. So I put the strap around my foot, start with the left leg, the right foot is in, and you basically need to straighten the left leg and bring it to the side, so it is a side stretch and on the same time a hamstring stretch and a hip opener, so it's all at once. That's why we did so many stretches. So straighten the left leg, push into the floor and open the leg to the side and bring your right arm over your leg. Now you can also try it without the strap. Then you grab the outside of your left foot with the right hand and then lift it up. So let's do the same thing on the other side. I'm curious because my right side is less open, so let's see how it goes. Okay, it's fine. And you can keep your knee bent a little bit, that's fine. And then release. But I also feel like this side, the hip opening is not as much as the left side, so the left side feels better than the right side, and it's probably the same with you. One side is always a little bit different, and that's fine. So I hope you managed to do some sort of sundial. It is an intense and advanced pose, and even trying is a success. For a moment, just close your eyes to finish the practice. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Think of one thing that you're grateful for. Open up your eyes. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope your hips feel at ease, nice and open. Tomorrow we're gonna do some sun salutation, and I'm gonna break down how to jump back from forward bend to a chaturanga. So if that is interesting for you, stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also comment on one of the videos so that you participate in this month giveaway. If you need the 30-day yoga challenge, you find the link in the description. Also a discount code for Mandupka Europe. And I wish you a wonderful day. Enjoy life and see you on day number 27.